Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 23rd, 2024 Planning Board meeting, our last meeting of the year. We could please first stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yes. So I want to welcome our new board member, but this is like a return for you, right?
Yes,
So you were on the board.
I don't even remember. Long time ago.
Well, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
I think we got a good group, and really glad you're here. I think this will round things out.
Why, thank you.
No, it's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah.
Time flies. Okay, first we have correspondence. We had some add-ons that apply to some of the agendas on. Anybody want to talk about anything at this point?
No.
Okay. John, anything to add?
Nothing at this moment, no.
Counselor?
No, Mr. Chair.
We'll move on to the meeting minutes of December 9th, 2024. Any corrections, additions?
All good. Sounds good.
Move to accept.
Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move into the work session portion of the meeting. First on the agenda, we have Savannah's Restaurant. This is a discussion of approved site plan, locations 3901 Compound Road.
I don't see anybody.
I don't see him.
Busy night in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, he must be jammed.
Okay, we'll move on. Second on the agenda, Guiding Eyes for the Blind. This is a discussion of approved site plan, locations 3241 Compound Road. How are you?
Good evening. Jody Cross from Zarin and Steinmetz. David Steinmetz sends his regards from Florida, of course.
Only say
Here on behalf of Guiding Eyes for the Blind, here most importantly with Peace, who is here representing Guiding Eyes, and also Bill Ma. And Rebecca Caratenuto from CBRE, and Jarina, the project engineer, I'm sorry. So as you recall, about a year ago, we received site plan, special permit, and other related approvals for 3241 Compound Road for the Guiding Eyes for the Blind Canine Health and Wellness Center. At this point, Guiding Eyes has been going through all the conditions and fulfilling them, and they have fulfilled all the conditions except for two. They're still waiting on the Army Corps permit for the stream crossing and their DOT permit. So although they've been diligently pursuing all their approvals, and they expect to get the Army Corps and DOT permits, it's been an inordinate amount of time. In fact, the Army Corps permit has now been pending for 140 days when they're typically supposed to respond in 45. So, as you know, Guiding Eyes is a nonprofit organization, and they really need to start working on construction on this project. So, what we're here tonight asking is that the board sign the site plan and allow them to move forward with phase 2 of the construction, to start the excavation and site work, grading, things like that. Nothing that would implicate the Army Corps or the DOT permit, but would allow them to begin the site preparation. This way, once the permits are issued, they could really begin the work in earnest. So I'm going to kick it over to Joe, who will talk about the technical details.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
How are you? Hi, Judy. So in August, the board granted Guiding Eyes the ability to remove the trees from the site, which that work has been done. We were expecting the Army Corps permit to follow shortly after that, but as Jody just explained, it's still awaiting, but we expect it soon. We did, other than the DOT permit, we have everything else in place. We just got the DEC water quality certification, so that's out of the way. And the Guiding Eyes would like to proceed with all other work related to and up to the construction of the building itself, the foundation and whatnot, other than what falls under the purview of the Army Corps, which is the culvert replacement at the driveway entrance, and then the mitigation work along the stream, along 202 and some of the other mitigation that we're doing. So that work will include the capping of the landfill, the installation of the stormwater management system, and the cut and fill operation to get the site to the building pad elevation, which is the site contractor, Tompkins Excavating, is estimating to take them about 3 to 4 months, which would put us right at the point when the building permit will be hopefully issued, and they could start the installation of the foundation and the building.
Has there been any back and forth between the agency, or are they just?
Yeah, so we had a call meeting with the Army Corps last week, and they've essentially told us they're all set. So as part of their protocol, because we're in the watershed, New York City watershed, they have to refer it to them and give them 2 weeks to respond to see if they have any additional comments. But so we're already a week into that, a little less than a week into that. So then, by the end of next week, they hopefully will be in a position to release the permit.
John, any issues?
So you expect it to, you expect to have everything that you normally would sometime next week?
Yes, but we're not betting on it, to this point,
Being
where we
realistic.
are right now. So we're just kind of hedging our bet that we will get it. They have given us no opposition to giving us the permit. It's a minor permit, so we don't expect it to be of any issue. It's just how long it's taken. We've made application to them in July, and we just finally got them on the phone, and I think it was just because of some pressure. We just got them on the phone, and got them reviewing it in the past couple of weeks. So,
And so the work that you want to proceed with is the clearing around the building, excavation, the capping of the landfill, and that's it. And you expect, when you're complete with that, that you will have your Army Corps permit in hand.
right. Right. And part of the issue is the site contractor has reserved a window for this project, and if we lose them, then that we'll lose a good amount of time, and as far as site work gets done, which is a key part of the project right now.
So what happens, we put these resolutions with these approvals in, for a reason. So that various things that need to get done in an orderly fashion. And I have every expectation and hope that you're correct, that these things are gonna flow and we're gonna get them expeditiously. What happens if they don't give it to you, or if they modify what they're going to give to you, what you're asking for? Then do you have to come back here and modify what you're doing, and does that affect what you're asking us tonight?
No, because the Army Corps permit only covers, as I said, the culvert replacement for the driveway and the stream work that we have to do as far as restoration goes. So it doesn't affect what we're asking you to let's proceed with. Is that what you're asking me?
Well, isn't the culvert replacement, that's a critical piece, because you've got the driveway now that is being widened, and that's why you have to do the replacement, right?
If they were to deny the permit, is that what you're asking me?
That's kind of what I'm asking. Yeah.
Well, if they were, then we're in trouble. Yeah, we're pretty much betting the farm that they're gonna issue that permit, based on what our conversation was with them, and that they were ready, they assured us they were ready to proceed with the permit once they heard back from the DEP.
But you have nothing in writing to that effect.
No.
And I suppose
mean, we
it's
have
your problem.
I have correspondence back and forth, but
Right.
that's it.
But if that scenario should happen, it's really your problem and not ours.
That's correct.
It would mean you'd have to change the stormwater management plan and
No, it wouldn't have anything to do with that. It's strictly
just the stream crossing.
just a stream crossing.
And you said generally it's a 40-day between the time it gets to them, and it's
That's
been,
what it's supposed to be, yes.
and how long's it been? 140 days.
And as I said, we couldn't even get a response from them until some pressure, external pressure was put on them to do that.
And Joe, to be clear, the delay has nothing to do with this project, it's just administrative delay.
It's just the Army Corps.
Yeah.
It's not a,
Counselor, any thoughts?
On the Army Corps' delay?
No, I'm sure there's nobody there.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could weigh in on that. Obviously, I can't.
Or procedurally.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry. I was being silly. You know, I think, you know, if as was just mentioned, right, these are in here for a reason, and we are taking a bit of a risk if we're, you know, proceeding ahead. That being said, if there's, you know, some confidence that the permits are going to be obtained, you know, in a timely fashion, I don't see any huge issue. I mean, I might like to see some language in there, sort of to the effect of the applicant understands that if you know, they don't come through, then, you know, they risk, you know.
Yeah, we would have no objection to language that says that we acknowledge proceeding at our own risk.
Yeah.
Well, my suggestion is to do a permit, excavation permit that details just the work that they are asking to embark on up until they grade out for the pad and no more. And if the Army Corps comes through, then you can expand to the normal permit that you would have done under the approval.
Okay.
I would also ask that they submit any correspondence that they've had to date with Army Corps.
No problem.
Just to add to that, Rich, would you want to, John, I'm sorry, would you want to see language that if for some reason the permit were denied, that they have to remove what was done? I mean, in some cases, they're going to be doing work that can't be kind of put back to the way it was, but.
Well, I think the language I would anticipate might be something on the order of restoring reasonably. So in other words, if there's some stockpile of soil in anticipation of the construction of the building and it doesn't happen because Army Corps or whatever, that they have to restore the site to, you know, to a reasonable condition with seating.
Or there's also, in the alternative, there are other design issues that we could come back with or for a site plan revision.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
So,
If
yeah,
Army Corps has an issue with the design,
then we
it
could
would be
build a
subject
bridge
to
or could build
to
something
a
else.
revision or an amendment for the board's approval, of
Correct.
course. Yeah.
Right.
Okay? Any issues to the board?
No.
All right, so let's get that going.
Great.
Get the language, so I guess both attorneys can take a look at it,
Great.
work it out, and we'll go from there.
Thank
So
you
we
very
need
much.
to send the Army Corps language, and you've already submitted exactly what he was looking for?
Yes, I'll get correspondence, whatever email correspondence we have with the Army Corps.
And then we'll just talk about the language on this particular interim permit of what work you'll be able to do.
Sure.
Okay?
Before you go, there's is there anything we need to know or
About this
discuss about this forest management plan
Forest
that was submitted?
management plan, yeah. Yeah, that was a last minute entry there, but I think that we can review that if you want, but I think it's pretty much what was discussed with or has been presented all along to the tree advisory and the conservation board, and it's just formalized in that document.
We need to do anything with it?
Do we refer this out, John, for review for the other boards, or? Okay.
It's
All right, so
part-
why don't you
part
give
of
us
the
time to
approved
take a look at it?
No changes
Yeah.
so far.
All right,
Okay,
we'll take a look, and any
Okay.
questions we'll get to John.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, happy holidays, happy New Year.
You
All
too.
the best.
Aaron,
Yeah, I saw.
All right, so we'll go back to number 1 on the list, Savannah's Restaurant. Again, this is a discussion of approved site plan, location 3901 Compound Road.
Can't imagine you're late, you couldn't be busy.
I honestly didn't think I was gonna make it at all. Okay, where are we at? 2 letters were supposed to be sent. One got to you later this evening, but it was very late sent to you, Robin. For the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need those? No, not the fire alarm.
Oh, the alarm system.
That it was tested. You were looking for that and the sprinkler system, right?
And guys, just for the record, we all know who you are, but we need your names.
Oh, I'm
for the-
sorry. Gina, Savannah and Company. Well, actually, I'm Savannah Southern House.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So we're waiting on a letter for, that's the building
That's
department.
something else. That's not, we're working on something else. Today was, there are 2 revised, I'm sorry, yes. I apologize. I'm confused as to which plan we're on right now. Okay, so you received those. Okay.
So what were the changes?
So the changes to the patio are, I don't know what the
Removing a
changes
seat and
were.
a bench?
Say it again?
Are you removing the stone seat and the bench?
Yes, I apologize. Yes, that was changed. We're putting a fence instead
And you're putting a fence?
around the patio.
Okay. Is that the only one? There's something else.
I'm trying to remember what else was changed.
Something about asphalt? Or is that,
Oh, we're gonna change it to the pavers so that there's better drainage.
New permeable paver.
Right.
Okay. The fence around it.
I don't have a problem.
But
I
it
don't have
helps
a problem with
with,
the,
I don't see no problem.
our watershed issue.
any issues, John?
I don't think so. Do you have anything? Is there any other thing that wasn't brought out? Okay.
Is this just a letter? How do we?
So what do we need?
No, that's something else. That was resolved,
Oh, no, not that kind of
Oh.
letter.
No, what do we do now?
What's procedurally with us?
Oh, we approve.
You're approved. We're gonna
For the
use
site
this
plan,
plan
right?
to get the site plan signed, right?
Right, that's why we're here.
And then we'll be able to get the building permit and move along.
This will be the first. step.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
We're all
Got it.
good?
good luck.
Motion
We'll
I
ask-
love that.
Do we have enough plans to sign? Okay, we'll ask your professional to get us the plans to get it signed, and then you'll be on your way to the building department.
Which plans? Because David said plans and so did Cronin. Which plans do you need now?
Another copy, in other words.
Another 1 or 2 copies, we'll work with David on it.
Okay.
So I don't need to do anything?
Nope.
That's so good, I think. Very much. Just want to make sure we're clear.
Go make the
Okay,
bread.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Happy
Have a
New
merry.
Year. Be safe, be
Bye-bye.
happy, be healthy.
All right, next, number 5, Underhill Farms. This is a discussion of a minor subdivision, locations 370 Underhill Avenue.
Yeah. Same question. Couple of changes besides that. Subdivision. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Good to see everyone. Mark Blanchard here on behalf of the applicant Underhill Farms for the minor subdivision approval. We're all very well familiar with this project. We had talked about the subdivision issue during the course of site plan, only conceptually. Now we're back with the formal plat being submitted. The site's being divided into into 2 lots. Pretty straightforward application. We're here to answer any questions that you might have. The one ask that we do have for this evening is that if you're satisfied with the plan and the revisions that have happened so far, we'd like to ask the board to consider setting the public hearing date for January, but wanted to put that out there as we get started and start to field your questions. I believe you'll see that the plat now contains the zoning table that was requested at the last meeting.
John? Does this need public informational or?
It's subject to public informational.
Did I skip a step? Do we have to do that first before the
Gotta do
hearing?
two.
Excuse me?
We have two hearings then.
Okay.
I have a question. I got two drawings in this package. I guess it's the corner where the mansion is and the rental is where the lot that you're gonna cut out, right?
Correct.
But when I got the other plan showing all the, you know, the approvals, you didn't superimpose the subdivision on the approved site plan yet.
She's only on the plot.
Okay, because that might be helpful for me to see what's going on. I'd like to see that. Are there any changes in our original site plan resolution that would flow from having a subdivision with two lots as opposed to having the one? So for example, who's holding, you know, the easements question, the public access. I assume conceptually that's not gonna change, but technically, you know, internally it might, now that you've got two pieces here.
So that's a great question. We have Mr. Chen's office, Adam Rodriguez is the attorney for the town board. Mr. Rodriguez and I have worked through all of the easements and have basically town board approval on the open space easement around the pond, and that was satisfactory for the recreational compliance. We had the Beaver Ridge emergency access easement through the property, which this project actually improved. Remember, it was going through a road that was unused. That is approved in recordable form. And then there was a restrictive covenant on the house itself, not landmarked, but the restrictive covenant.
Right.
Those three documents are approved and they're in recordable form. In fact, the recording process is underway. We're sort of in that now. So to answer your question, no, nothing on the actual site plan that you looked at for site plan approval is changing. And those.
Except for that, the two things that you talked about, the parking and the two
Oh,
units.
yeah, that's right. The two units came back there
Yeah,
and the
so,
parking came back.
right, so we,
Have you seen that?
Have I seen?
Have you seen any of these documents?
Which ones?
You mean the easement stuff?
Yeah.
I don't
haven't
think
seen
we've,
these.
No, John.
I haven't seen it.
Not the cross easements, no.
The what?
Not the cross-access easements, right?
Oh, to Beaver Ridge?
No, between these two lots.
Oh, no,
We don't have
that one we have, that is not finished. We would do the both sites are dependent upon each other, so that's a fourth easement that would be a part of this approval resolution that we would then undertake upon approval. Yes, you're right, though, for access to the different driveways to go across the sites, absolutely.
yeah, so the changes we talked about the last time are
Yeah.
these 4 units here were put back as per the original approval where during that whole process with the Army Corps, we had reduced it to 2. But,
Right.
but it's back to what we originally had approval on, which is the 4. We lost 9 spaces inside the apartment building because of the structure, column placement and whatnot.
Right.
And we've added those out in this area here, in and around the condo building. And then the third change was the existing wooden footbridge. Instead of replacing it, we are putting in a culvert to allow the water to flow through, and we're gonna have a consistent gravel surface going across the culvert.
We haven't dealt with those formally yet. Am I right?
Not in any type of acknowledgement in a formal vote of any
The
type.
plan hasn't been amended formally to do those things.
Right, we've submitted as an amended plan,
But
but
we
you
haven't,
haven't acted on it, no.
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have to take action on that. Is that something we do with the subdivision or separately? now that they're being split?
That really should be a separate action, I suppose, an amendment to the site plan.
Yeah.
We could do it at the same time, right?
Well, you have some things that you're amending, that you've requested to be amended, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's another resolution in action.
Right.
Does that need a hearing? We can probably put it all
The
out at the
amendments
same
that
time.
we've seen before may not need a public hearing because they're, pretty minor, but
Right.
it's a matter of keeping a record that you've seen them and that they are showing up because you've approved them,
All right.
for the most part. But that's up to you. If you want to do a public hearing on them, I think that you could, in that case.
Do it all at once.
I would do it all at
do them
once.
both
That'd
if
be
you prefer,
preferable.
And I have to, as a point of clarification, I misspoke. The easements, the cross easements on the property are already finished. They're part of the offering plan for the condominium that is already completed. So when I said that we had to do that
I get it.
fourth easement, that's incorrect.
is.
I was incorrect.
Okay.
That's already done. We can share that with you if the board wishes.
Do we need to see that stuff?
I don't think so.
Not the offering plan, but I'll show you the easement.
Not the offering plan, no.
We'll
we
submit
know.
the easement for the board.
So
We don't need to see
the maintenance of the recreational part of this, who's gonna handle that now? That's gonna be the,
It's the Property Owners Association
Yeah.
who's gonna handle all that. And they're the owners, and the public is allowed to attend.
That language is in the easement.
In the current easements that were approved?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, and so that has to follow somehow with these two distinct properties now, right?
Yes.
Well, it's in place now, okay? So if you subdivide it, it's still there. The easement is an area, right? And now it's gonna be on two separate lots.
Yes.
But it's still there. It's not like it's gonna affect that.
It is still there, but I just think that in the subdivision language and even maybe on the plat, it should be referencing and making condition that those easements are followed by both the new owner of each of these lots. So that's what I mean. Now, I'm not saying that you have to necessarily have two separate distinct easements or copy the same easement for both or something, but certainly this subdivision, when it splits up and it's gonna have two new owners, both owners have to be very clear and are required to follow those easements. I think that's the best way to do it. That's my belief.
And you said the town board approved them already?
Yes.
Okay. But, all right.
Just for context, the need for the lot line or the new lot lines, is that because of the various ownership aspects of?
Yes,
How
we had
they're
mentioned during site plan approval that we thought that one portion of the project would be subject to a condominium. And so that's what's happening now.
Okay.
So I see Ms. Siegel nodding her head. The town board, we have presented the easements to the town board attorney. He has run it through the supervisor. The town board, they are approved for presentation to the town board.
Okay,
It wasn't a formal vote to the town board.
then that's,
Right.
when you say approved, that means
No. They're in final form, but we're
So-
not expecting any resistance. but-
approved as the form and substance, but hasn't been signed off.
Correct. No, they have been signed.
Some of them have.
Right. We have some that are signed and some that aren't.
All right, well, I guess we,
Emergency road access is signed.
I guess we ought to see what you got.
Yeah, I don't remember, doing anything as of recent. So when did this all occur that you're?
I worked with Adam really in September, October of this year. And they're in their final form. In fact, I think Mr. Lackman has signed the open space. We're just waiting on an updated map to show the open space area. These were all connected to the site plan resolution. So this goes way back. I mean, my first drafts into Adam were back in May.
But it didn't require like a full board action?
No.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Look, if there's confusion created related to the easements, I'll clarify it at the next meeting. I'll just submit them as part of any kind of submission package so that you see what's gone on.
yeah, and just tell it what the status is,
Exactly.
approve, ratify, whatever it is.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all recorded. It's a record on the Westchester County Clerk land records.
That's fine.
So I'll submit everything just so that, I think I'm creating a little confusion. I'll fix it.
Okay,
So all he needs is a setup for hearing.
yeah, I think we can do that.
don't we set the hearing up?
we set the.
That'd be great.
Do a public
Okay.
informational and.
Public information and
Then the
follow
next
it with a regular hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love that.
New,
Okay, set the dates.
was it
Well,
part of the original application? When we did the original public
Subdivision,
information?
wasn't
the subdivision?
Yeah.
No, but, I mean, you may be able to waive the public informational, but also, I think pursuant to this, the discussion tonight, there's some work to be done in terms of the easements and understanding how the two lots will work together, so I think there's, you know, we would like to dive into it a little bit.
Right.
I'm not saying that you can't do the public hearing or anything, but we certainly want to have the time to make sure that when you guys do your approval, that we've thought everything out, we know what we're going to get. I think the easements conditions is something important, because as you
So-
know, there are, as by way of example, there's sites around town that are developed, been there for a long time, and they own the roads, but they don't think they should be taking care of them. They own the pond, they don't think they should be, you know, taking care of that, those things, and that, to some degree, is born out of lack of clarity in the documents, and I think we should make sure that we're
So,
clear on these.
does anybody have an issue waiving the public informational hearing?
No, I think we should waive
I
it.
don't have an issue with that, but I think we should schedule this for the second meeting in
All right,
January.
so,
Right.
Mark, if you could work with David and John and Robin to sit down and look at these easements and descriptions, Joe. If that all works out, we'll get you on the second meeting of the month,
January.
right?
That's for public hearing.
Sure.
For one hearing.
One, yeah,
That's terrific.
okay?
Oh,
So you're
We're
looking
gonna
at
do
the
that,
second
we're gonna do that for public
Potential
hearing, right?
for the
Yes.
second
Not
meeting in
informational.
January. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll work with John and his,
You just gotta clean up the confusion you've created.
yes. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. But, okay, we can fix that up. and
Right.
we'll-
Yeah,
we'll
so
be
we
good to go.
target that, the interim meeting will be to review everything, and then we'll be ready to go in second meeting in January.
That's terrific.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
All right, next we have a town board referral, 3167 Lincoln Drive. This is a SWIP and wetland permit application for a rear deck. This is one we didn't get out to.
Right.
Right. This was the snow event.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So I think we're still gonna wanna get out there.
Yeah.
We're not looking to delay you, but this is something I think we gotta see.
I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Oh, the Alice Urbina?
Okay, could you go through just some of the things that you were talking about? I think it was you and your husband, right?
Yes.
At the town board meeting, in terms of how long has this happened, what happened?
So.
Give
I
them a
had
little
to go-
background.
I had to go do my homework at home and try to see all the applications that we have submitted. It seems that, when we submitted the permit for the deck, we were referred to the DEC, because we are, right next to the Mohegan Lake. And they scheduled a visit, they went to the site, and I think this was in February. So we did came back, because we did have a meeting, and then we were told that the permit for the deck was approved. At that time, everything was fine. So I believe in September, after everything, we thought everything was okay, we received a letter from the DEC saying that we have a notice of violation. It's because, the filling, I believe, when I talked to my husband, he said we did mention that before, and it was already took care of it. However, the neighbor did complain about it, saying that, I believe we never notified the town of that filling, which we did. So I guess this is where the whole confusion it is, because when they went and they didn't notice, or they didn't tell us anything after we had the permit for the deck.
So you came in for a permit. Who saw the fill part of it?
Dan, you wanna fill in some blanks? You can better than I can.
If I'm correct, the whole story is, I'm more confused than everyone.
I hear you. Just for the record, who are you, sir?
Nancy Arcia, town engineer.
Oh, thank you.
So the way the story went, they came in, they were putting a deck on the house. So this is how it began. But the deck was in the DEC wetlands buffer. So a permit, we went before the town board, a resolution was approved contingent upon getting the approval of DEC. So we were issuing a local wetlands permit, but the DEC had overlapping jurisdiction. So subsequent to that, we had gotten a report that there was some additional fill that went beyond where the deck was, between the deck and the lake, which would have been, would require a permit in and of itself. And at that point, I guess that's when the DEC came out and issued a notice of violation. So what we had was a town board resolution approving essentially sonotubes to put a deck in. And then that we amended it once the fill issue came to light. So now we've got the added complexity that there's a DEC notice of violation in play now. So that needs to be resolved, and hopefully as part of that, the DEC will issue a permit, but there's probably going to be some type of, I had to guess, some type of wetlands remediation that may be required.
So if I recall correct from the last time, there was fill, there was a wall, right, that the neighbor complained about?
Of an existing stone wall.
Okay, did you see that, Dan?
I didn't see the pre-existing condition. Our evaluation was done through historical aerial photographs.
Okay. And then you were taking the septic out and tying into the sewer system?
That's something that we added because we had to come back and we said, let's just do a permit for all of that because we don't want to go back and forth with the permit, so we just added that to now.
Okay. So is the deck built?
Yes.
So the deck is done. You have an open violation with the DEC.
Right.
That's got to get resolved. And then there would be a local permit, potentially.
That's right.
So how do we go any further with the violation with the DEC still open?
Well, I mean, where it ends up, this is a town board jurisdictional permit. So it's being referred to you, so, you know, any input you want to share, but I mean, ultimately that, you know, whether you want to weigh in on any potential remediation or thoughts, but otherwise, like I said, I think the DEC is going to.
So you're going to work closely with the DEC on whatever the resolution will
Yeah.
be. So if you're working with the DEC and there's a resolution, how much input do we really have on it?
Right.
It sounds like it's,
Well, that sounds like your memo then.
so maybe we don't have to go to the site and we could just.
It's a referral.
Yield it to engineering and the DEC.
That's it.
I don't
Is
see
the
any
deck
planning-
attached to the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see any planning.
What else,
that
what are
No,
we
I mean,
going to
I
add?
think that, yeah, I mean, it really isn't a real planning issue here.
All
but
right,
No.
so does anybody have an
Technically,
issue
it was
with
referred to you.
saying we'll let the engineering department and DEC work out the details? That would be
I
the,
think that's what they should do.
No
Okay.
No planning issue.
all right, so we're not coming out to
No
the site.
planning issue. We don't
All
have
right,
to
so
come out.
work with the town engineer and the DEC with your professionals and see what
So they're
gets.
requesting to have a permit for that, so that I have to work with.
Dan,
Yeah.
you got nothing to do with
Gonna
us.
be my best friend now.
Yeah. All right, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
All right,
Have a happy holiday.
happy holidays.
You too.
On Lane.
Lost my list. There it is. Okay, next we have Garden Lane Apartments. This is a discussion of the approved site plan, locations Old Compound Road.
Good evening, everybody. Gino Lavrigetta, Principal with Garden Lane Development. Here today to see if you guys would consider allowing us to pull a clearing permit as well as a foundational permit. We're about probably almost 2.5 years since we embarked on this. We are through the planning department, we're through your building department. The only thing we're waiting on is Westchester County Board of Legislature's approval or sign-off on our ability to connect to the Peekskill Sewer District. And I understand there are 3 phases there. We're through the health department. We're currently before both the planning and law departments. It's taking forever. I think we submitted this probably a year ago, and we do get acknowledgement that they're in receipt of it, and it has made its way through. But my understanding is it's a formality, and we're prepared to accept any contingent liability that may arise. But like in this environment, with carrying costs being the way they are, and us being at about 26, 28 months, we really like the ability to, at the very least, pull a permit for clearing and the ability to do the foundation.
Is your property in the district now? Or is it that you want to be included in the district, or is it just a connection?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Dan, can you help us out with this one? Garden Lane Apartments?
Are they in or out of the district?
They're in our district, they're not in the county district. And the county district, unfortunately, no matter what, always seems to, the application to get put into the Peekskill district takes about a year. How long ago did you submit?
I would say at least a year.
All right, so you should be getting close.
A hearing again is where we have outside agencies that
Yeah. Did you
have a
have no
process and
control
procedure
over
that's being followed. It's
No
just,
control over.
Rips them up.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
What do you think?
you need the infrastructure to do the building.
yeah.
That's the,
I don't see why we can't let them.
Well, the problem I have is if you give him permission and then the county comes up with some reason not to do it, that he has no ability to do septic, this project does.
This is a little bit different than the last one when it's just a crossing over a stream channel. This is
Yeah,
sewer infrastructure.
their risk, isn't it?
It is, but are we allowing it to go forward without the county signing off?
Yeah, but he's willing to go forward at his risk. So if he doesn't get permission, he's stuck with a skeleton foundation and clear land. And he probably will have to clean it up.
This is a
and-
much bigger
Big
risk.
single-family house and has a septic tank.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could look at it that if they were allowed to move forward with it, at a minimum, get the clearing done, get erosion control up, get the site prepped. If all were to unravel, then whatever it is, you put two single-family houses in. But, I really have no reason to believe that the county won't approve it. But, in the extreme case that they didn't, the parcel will be developed in some fashion. So, I mean, is the board comfortable just allowing the clearing to proceed?
Has
How
anybody
extensive
talked to
is
the county?
the,
Sorry.
That's good.
That's all right.
How extensive is the clearing for this project versus another project that might take its place? I mean, how many numbers, how many trees are you removing?
I mean,
How much-
it's vacant land that's been vacant for a long time, so I mean, I would say it's not a couple of trees.
Not a couple of trees.
Right.
So it's a lot of trees.
Again, it's,
well,
we've got a clear land.
It was formally developed.
It was formally developed?
So there is an area that is not completely retaken over, in my recollection. I don't know if
Thank
you've been
you,
out
Joe.
there, Dan, as well, but, so there's an old, you can see the remnants of an old driveway and an old cleared area where I believe a house was. Now, it hasn't been there for decades, but nevertheless, it's not what you would expect as raw forested land that has, 50 years of second growth on it. I'm not vouching for the applicant here, I'm just telling you the condition of what I recall out there maybe a year or so ago.
Well, this is one of those ones where if by chance you weren't to get included in the district and unable to proceed with the sewer, and you've removed all those trees, that can't be put back, right? You can't put them back, and it might really change the attributes of the property for another type of development, a couple of single-family homes or something that want more of a wooded lot. So that would be, again, this is one where,
It's tricky.
yeah.
Has anybody reached out to the county?
I have reached out on numerous occasions. We now have an expediter on the case. There has been an expediter on the case, and still nothing. I mean, like, again, right, you guys are much more familiar with this area than I am. My question is, Have you guys ever seen the Westchester County Board of Legislatures deny? Because again, everything I've heard is it's a formality.
I
And,
never saw them deny it.
I'm sorry?
I have never saw them deny anything, not
If
to
you
my
look in
knowledge.
your package, there is a plan that shows the tree removals,
Yeah.
and you can see clearly the area
Extent, yeah.
where the house was, et cetera. And
Yep.
I'm guessing you're probably, maybe 100 trees, if that. Protected trees.
Like, believe me, I am all over this, and I can't get anywhere.
Well, how much work do you actually get to do in January? Let's,
Well, I mean, if you would have, before this weekend, we probably would have been able to say,
no.
a lot more. But again, my understanding is that this is presumed or predicted to be a warmer than expected winter, with a couple of pockets like these few days. And like again, you can take a look. We're at about 28, if not 30 months, and I know that doesn't weigh, but we've done everything we needed to do with both your department as well as building. We're good to go. And again, I'm prepared to, my team is prepared to assume any sort of risk associated with this, but we need to get started.
I think we ought to let them go.
January's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be a good month. February's gonna warm up. Has Mike Stein reached out to the county?
Yes, we hear the same thing. They go at their own pace, and you got to let them do what they got to do. And as I said, we've brought on an expediter, and he seems to have a bit more of a direct line of sight to them. Maybe that's why we're through the health department, and maybe that's why we're concurrently with both law and planning.
David, any thoughts?
Yeah, as with the other one, I think at a minimum, we'd want to see the assumption of risk language in there, which sounds like would not
I'm
be an
okay with
issue.
that.
I mean, I was at the county for 7 years. I will say that I never heard of them, the BOL denying something like this, and I'm also well aware that how slowly the wheels can turn. I think with that language, I would be comfortable.
So why don't you, like the last applicant, work with the planning department and David's office to see what you can come up with,
Very good.
and we'll see what that yields.
Okay.
All right?
I appreciate the consideration.
Okay.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All the best. Merry Christmas. Next, we have SDML Realty LLC, Duncan Route 202. This is approved site plan. Location's 3735 Compound Road, Route 202. There is a discussion to remove 2 additional trees.
And we have pictures of 2 trees.
They don't have representatives? So Ian's presenting this one?
We let it go.
Has anybody looked at the trees?
The picture,
We got pictures.
we got pictures.
Well, which tree is it on the plan relative to the picture?
I see there's one in the right of way.
I think that's the one they're talking about.
There's 2 next to each other. Is that on their property?
No.
Are they hazards?
How come we didn't see that?
So they gotta get our.
So
they
we
gotta be
approved
taken-
the pipe location under a tree.
I don't think they did their tree survey, I don't think extended into the.
Right away.
right-of-way.
What kind of tree is this?
Not sure.
Whose right of way is this?
Sounds like it's the town's, it's unimproved.
Town or state?
What's
State or
the
town?
diameter of the trees?
That's state right away or town right away?
I think that's town.
Looks like town. It's a road.
Aaron, do you remember Garden
Water
Lane?
course right there
Yes.
too.
It's the same filed map that created this. So
Okay.
it's a up to center line, a butter scenario probably.
And they're proposing a tree line in that area?
But
Are they putting something back, it looks like?
No,
got a
that's
bunch-
off of this. That's just the pipeline.
Right, 'cause it says on the one map, it says proposed tree line.
Yeah, and on the next map, it shows it off the tree line.
That's what I'm looking at, the second one. I don't know why they wrote proposed in there.
Where's the pipe?
Pipe's here.
What does the pipe connect to?
Pipe's here, and it's,
Once you excavate there,
gonna be
you'll
nothing
disrupt the
left.
root system and probably lose the tree at some point anyway, even if you were able to work around it, so.
I'd
The
rather
only
see
other
them
option they
approve
have
the
might be to set another
streamline
structure,
there.
Yeah,
put a, kind of go around
let him
it.
take it down.
So if they remove that tree, are they gonna storm harden this side of the, where the end section is?
Well, there's already an established channel there, but it probably should be rip-wrapped a little bit
So
more.
can we make that a condition of removing the tree?
I think that would be a good idea, yeah.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
Any issue with that?
No, good one.
Okay, we'll make that a condition of the tree removal.
All right.
So you're good with the 2 trees being removed and lining the existing
We wanna
channel
make
with
sure that-
riprap to the satisfaction of the town engineer?
Yes.
And Ian.
Good. There you go.
Next, we have a town board referral, 841 and 851 Kipling Drive. This is a request to enter the Halleck's Mill Sewer District.
I don't see any issues for us here.
Does that come under our jurisdiction?
No, it's just a referral.
It's a referral from the town board.
We got this one already, didn't we? And then we kicked it down the road for some reason?
Yeah.
We got it.
All right, so do we have any planning issues?
None.
All right, so we'll get a memo, no planning issues.
Bingo.
Do I have a motion to close the last
Motion.
meeting of the year?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You are done.